More than 15,000 children are diagnosed with diabetes every year, and the majority of those cases are type 1 diabetes. Well, that diagnosis means monitoring sugar levels and administering insulin, which is a challenging task for parents and children. Today, Jeff Hitchcock, the founder and CEO of Children with Diabetes, is here to tell us about the Kid Care Kit, which helps parents get through the first 30 days after a diagnosis. Such a pleasure to have you with us today.
It's great to be here.
So first, let's talk a little bit about your group, Children with Diabetes, and how it started a few years back.
Okay. In 1989, our first child, Marissa, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes right after her second birthday. And some years later, I got access to the internet and realized that the World Wide Web was the perfect medium for building a 24-hour support group for families like ours who had a child with diabetes. And over the years it grew to become a very large website, and we also do conferences every year for families.
So this was a really personal mission for you.
It's a very personal mission.
Tell us a little bit about, for those who don't know, what exactly is type 1 diabetes and what does it mean for a person who's diagnosed with it?
Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune illness. The body destroys the cells in the pancreas that make insulin. And as a result, someone with type 1 has to take insulin via injection every day to survive. And as you mentioned, that means checking blood sugar levels many times during the day, paying attention to exercise and food, primarily carbohydrates that you've eaten, and injecting insulin one way or another, either via syringe or an insulin pump.
And I'm sure it can be really overwhelming for parents when their child is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
Absolutely. The diagnosis experience causes your whole life to turn upside down. Everything changes.
What are some of the common challenges that parents would face when their child is diagnosed?
Well, there's the whole how do I learn to take care of my child challenge. So you've taken your child to typically a hospital emergency room, they're very sick, and you are taught how to check blood sugars, inject insulin, and sent home. And that's all kind of a panic situation. You come home, you don't often remember what you were taught. You're worried about, are you going to hurt them? Are they going to be okay?
That's where the Kid Care Kit comes in. It can make this diagnosis easier for everybody.
Absolutely. We were approached by Sanofi Aventis some time ago to put together this Kid Care Kit to help families in that first month after diagnosis. Help them understand that everything's going to be okay. There are several components that help reinforce the learning that they had at diagnosis and give them tools to help their child get back to normal life.
So let's talk about what's inside. First, you have the quick cards.
The quick cards. This is a collection of information and knowledge derived from a lot of families who have kids with diabetes. They remembered the challenges that they had, and with some healthcare professionals, we put together this kit that is really what you need to know right after diagnosis.
And then the Give One cards. What's a Give One card?
Well, your child is going to interact with a lot of adults other than the parents, the teachers, coaches on the sports teams.
Okay, one for coaches.
Even the school bus driver. So these are very simple cards that you can give out, write your child's name on, and they have two of the most important bits of information. What to do if your child has a high blood sugar and what to do if they have a low blood sugar in very easy to understand language.
Okay, and also inside a DVD and a carb counter. Tell us about that.
The DVD is a way to help families understand that they're not alone. A couple of healthcare professionals and families talk about their experiences. And the Calorie King book is sort of the Bible for counting carbohydrates. You go out for fast food, for example, and you're not quite sure what my child's about to eat, and you need to know that to dose insulin correctly. And that book you can put in a purse and take
it along with you.
Absolutely.
So there will be no questions.
It makes it easier.
Why is it so important for parents to start treating diabetes as soon as it's diagnosed?
Well, type 1 diabetes is a lifelong condition. While there's a lot of research underway, there is no cure today. And if you start off on the right foot, your child can and will basically live a very healthy, normal life.
Now, this probably is, as we said, is very overwhelming for parents, for children, and this information may sound like a lot to someone, but it's manageable, you say.
I think it is, and that's part of the message of Children with Diabetes. Our organization is to teach families how to live very well with type 1.
And your, just very quickly, because we're just about out of time, your advice to a parent who's just found out their child's been diagnosed?
I would urge them to meet other families, either online or locally, and not to worry that everything is going to be okay.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate having you in, Jeff Hitchcock. Thank you for
You're
coming,
welcome.
for all this great advice. And for childhood diabetes support, you can go to childrenwithdiabetes.com. Thank you so much for watching Parents TV, and we'll see you again soon.